guys? You're watching Blazed and Confused right now. I got my buddy Derek with me, and we're starting a new project of just getting together, shooting the shit about whatever. I don't know where to go from there.
All right, that's it. That's good.
That's it. That's a wrap.
Now, what are some of the things you think we might cover? I mean, I know a lot of it will be just whatever comes to mind, but what are some of our main focuses?
Other than just shooting the shit, I mean, we do a lot of paranormal stuff, a lot of exploring of urban legends, myths, stuff like that. Just whatever.
As travel permits. I mean, it's good we're starting this like right when winter's kicking off hardcore for us.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah. So, yeah, we may do some armchair travel.
That's Add a little spice to it and see where it takes. This is our first one, as you can probably tell. Anyways, I've known Derek for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know how many years. Don't ask me to do the math.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
We've been on a paranormal team together. We've done a lot of paranormal investigations. We like to cut up, have a good time. I met this guy because he crashed into my car.
Mm-hmm. I was driving at the time.
That's I just bought this brand new car. Didn't even have tags on it yet. Dropped my daughter off and was going down the road, and I seen this guy about to pull out of a parking lot, not paying attention, and sure enough, he smacks the ass end of my car. Exchanged information and went our separate ways.
Now, I was paying attention. I just didn't see you, so I wasn't paying close enough.
That's it. There you go. Yeah.
But I was looking both ways at traffic, and I was on a weird hill.
So, and then months went by.
A couple months, yeah.
And my daughter and his daughter, we had open house. They apparently went to the same school, and my wife and I park, and we're walking up, and I see him standing over there, and I'm just like, man, if I think that who it is, that's the guy that hit me. And my wife says, well, if it is, that's your daughter's best friend's dad.
And it was. So the rest is history.
So we've been hanging out ever since and doing adventures and
a friendship forged in crisis. That's how it goes.
But isn't that how some of the greatest friendships happen, is through weird stuff like that?
Yeah. There's usually a good story behind it.
Right. So we've been talking about doing this video podcast for a long time now. Previously on this channel, my daughter and I, we've done some travel vlogs, and I kind of went on hiatus for a few years, and we've been just getting together, and we decided, what the hell, let's just do it and see where it goes. And hopefully the more we do it, I get uncomfortable. Like, I feel weird talking to the camera, but
I feel weird being in the same room while you're talking to the camera.
See,
but other than that, I'm golden. I'm good.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, we're gonna fire this up and see what happens with it, and we want to do some, like we said earlier, some travel ones. If we discuss paranormal, or we like cold cases or weird cases or unsolved cases. I'm big into serial killer stuff, unsolved murders, stuff like that. So we like to read up on it. We'll talk about it, and some of these we'll want to travel to see if we can do a video on that.
Yeah. One case that we investigated that we actually did twice was the Beaver Lodge.
Yep.
Here in Rogers. I think when it gets to their down season again, it might be interesting to try and go back.
That would be good.
Yeah, reach out to the owner again and just kind of do a
I wonder if it's the same owner from then, because that had been 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
This hotel that we did, we ended up having a lot of activity on, so it goes off, but it still records.
Okay.
It's getting to know the equipment. That's why I have the backup over there, just in case something goes away. But anyways, we that hotel, man, we got stuff on a spirit box, and some direct replies. I know a lot of people listening to be like, "Oh, that's crap."
Yeah.
It was so long ago. I don't have any footage of that
Yeah.
left anymore.
And it wasn't anything definitive enough for us to say, oh, you know, holy crap, this place is crazy haunted. But it was enough to raise our eyebrows.
Right.
So.
Well, I'm skeptic as it is. It's like my goal is to debunk it and prove that it's not. But we've been on some cases that we just couldn't prove
Yeah.
that there was an activity there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Case in point, there was one house we investigated where absolutely nothing happened all night long. And anything that we were told by the owners, we were able to debunk pretty quickly and easily with a little bit of focus and determination. We were about to call it quits, and it was late at night. It was getting to be about 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
We were sitting around at the kitchen table, just, you know, trying to see if anything could happen. And then all of a sudden, there was a loud clang. And we had no idea where it came from, but we knew it was in the vicinity of where we were sitting. We got up, we rummaged around on the counter, the dishes in the sink, and we could not replicate the sound at all. And we spent about 15 to 20 minutes trying to figure
it out
what it was. And Ponji's Uncle Steve, who goes on investigations with us, he notices this, it's like a brass spittoon, but it was sitting in the corner. Of course, it hadn't been used as a spittoon. It was like a decorative piece. He looks down, looks inside it, and pulls out, I believe it was a hickory nut.
Yeah.
And drops it in there, and it made the exact same sound. And that's the only thing that we could figure out that had made that sound. But we couldn't figure out how it made that sound.
Right, and where the nut came from.
Where it came from, where it fell from. You know, the only possible explanation is if it had somehow been balanced on the rim, but we were all sitting completely still, so nothing.
But even the
it off.
spittoons, usually the rim they're curved.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so it wouldn't have been sitting there to begin
Right.
with. But you know, that's one of those things that, you know, does it mean that the place was haunted? No, but it certainly means something happened that we couldn't explain.
Right.
So.
Since you brought up Steve,
Yes.
go ahead and tell the story about the night vision goggles.
Okay. This might give you a little bit of a preview of what to expect, especially if we can record efficiently while we're on our trips. We made a trip out to the Hornet Spook Light, and it's a stretch of road where for decades this mysterious light has been seen moving up and down the road, bouncing around, acting erratically. Nothing really explains it. We went out there looking for it, and for hours we drove up and down this stretch of road, sometimes pulling over and getting out and just kind of standing around and looking around. And we had crested the top of the hill as you enter the area it's supposed to be, and we had pulled over and parked, and we were just kind of hanging out, and there was a...
Wait, before you go any further, to give them a visual, Steve is like over 6 feet tall, a big dude.
Yeah.
So just imagine this big dude.
Yeah, big guy, and he gets out, and he had a brand new pair of night vision goggles that he had just purchased, and he was trying them on and trying them out, and he had kind of wandered off in another direction. Well, not far from where we were, there was a pickup truck parked there, and there were a couple of guys leaning on the back of the truck, hanging out. You know, your typical good old boys.
And they were backwoods.
Yeah.
Very backwoods banjo.
Yeah, they were. I guess they were slightly. They weren't quite the good old boy status, but they were. Yeah, they were
characters.
Yeah, they looked like they had come out of the woods for sure. And they were just chit-chatting with us, which is no big deal. We talk to anybody. Ponji talks to people all the time that he doesn't know. I'm a little more reserved, but you know, they were just kind of chatting. You know, you guys out here to see the light? And, you know, yeah, we've seen it a bunch of times. And, you know, we'd never seen it, so we were just kind of talking about that. And it came up in conversation. I think you may have mentioned it, that, you know, we did paranormal investigations, and that's why we were out there to see if we could see the light. And they start kind of whispering to each other and talking amongst themselves, and I could hear them kind of mumbling stuff about, hey, we ought to take these boys out there to that old property in the woods, and you know, there's all kinds of crazy shit going on out there. Yeah, we need to take them out there and show them that. Yeah, let's do that. And so they start talking to us about it, and we're like, you know, we're good, we're okay.
It was super sketch how it all went down.
Yeah, we just, you know, you get a feeling, and we had that feeling, and we were listening to our instincts on this one. So we were just kind of saying, no, we're good here, we're fine here. And about that time, Steve walks up with his very expensive night vision goggles on. Oh man, you could see everything with these things. Where are we going? Let's go. Where are we going to go? And we're like, no,
yeah, we're not we don't want to go.
If we go with these guys, we are not coming back. We don't want to go. So, yeah, that was a fun experience.
It's Was it that same night when we got pulled over?
No,
that was the different one.
That was a different one.
Apparently in the state of Missouri, or is it Oklahoma?
I'm not sure which state that
it's somewhere on the line of Missouri and Oklahoma.
Because it's in the corners area of multiple states.
Right. You can't pull over on the side of the road on a hill. And we learned that the hard way.
We took another trip back with Steve and another mutual friend of ours, and Ponji was driving, and Steve was in the front seat, and I was in the back, and so was my friend. And we were just driving around. We decided to go out and see if we could see the light again. Still haven't seen it to this day.
Right.
But on this particular trip, Steve had brought along a jar of moonshine. And
I was not drinking.
No.
I was driving.
I was good. And driving. But I was drinking. And Steve was drinking, and we were just kind of passing the jar back and forth. And to be honest, I've had several different, you know, kinds of shine. I've sampled some different shine, and this is by far. And this was some homebrewed stuff Steve brought in a mason jar, and it was. I think if we had been drinking kerosene, it would have gone down easier than this stuff. And it didn't get better. It didn't get easier to drink. You know, we were just driving around, and we finally get to the road, and we pull over in one spot, and we don't really see anything. And the odd thing was, there wasn't anyone on that road. In the previous times we had gone to see the light, there were cars all up and down, cars driving and stopping and turning around. You know, it was a feature of that area. Here we were the only car on the road. We decided to move to a different location, and we pull out, and we're moving a little bit, and then we pull over, and then we see blue lights, and a cop car pulls up behind us. And we're like, what is going on? And I'll let you take this part of the story.
So he comes up to the window. He said something like, you know, I pulled you over, or something to that effect. He didn't pull us over. He pulled behind us.
Yeah. But
he starts lecturing me about, in whatever state it was, that you're not allowed to pull over on the shoulder when you're on a hill. Mm-hmm. And I was telling him, just like, you know, I didn't know that. I'm sorry that, you know, we're here to do this. And told him that we would leave. And he's just like, yeah, after I give you your ticket. Like, this guy was just a dick.
Yeah, he was grinning ear to ear when he said it. I mean, he relished running people off. And he probably hated you know, being put in that area and having to deal with
Right.
the traffic and stuff like. He probably would rather do anything else. So I can't blame the guy for being miserable and angry.
But at the same, I mean, I understand the kids go down there, or even adults, and just
Yeah.
being hellions, and
Yeah.
we're just keeping to ourselves. But yeah, he took all my information and went back to his car and told me I was getting a ticket for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm like pissed, like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? And then Steve starts in on his.
Yeah. Steve is like, no, this is bullshit. No, you're not getting a ticket. And when he comes up here, I'm going to give him a piece of my mind. I'm going to talk to him. And you are not getting a ticket. No.
And I'm like,
bullshit.
Shut your mouth. Just shut the hell up. Let it ride. And this whole time, like, I'm pissed because, like, I just had tickets go off my record, speeding tickets. I don't want another one. And as much dumb stuff I've done on the road, I'm gonna need a ticket for being parked on the side of the fucking road.
Mm-hmm.
So Steve is sitting in, and we're like, dude, shut up. Don't make matters worse. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
And then you got them two in the back seat trying to hide the moonshine.
Yeah. Yeah. So Steve's going to give the guy a piece of his mind. And we're just like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. And then the guy comes back. He hands Ponji his license back. And he's like, I'm gonna let you off with a warning this time, but don't come back, basically. He was still being a jerk, but not as bad. So, you know, we thanked him and we go on our way. And as we're driving away and driving on the road to leave that forsaken place, I say to Steve, when you were planning on giving that officer a piece of your mind, did you happen to forget the jar of shine I have being held between my feet in the back seat? Apparently he had, but luckily Steve kept his mouth shut and we were fine.
That's the thing about our adventures. You never know what's going to happen. And there's countless stories. Another story that I love is there's 4 of us on a paranormal team. And we had a paranormal investigation to do about an hour north of us. And later that night, we had a chance of wintry mix, a little bit of ice, a little bit of snow. But there was a big window for us to get where we needed to be without any issues. And 2 of the other members decided to back out. And talked to Derek, and you know, we decided it's like we're going to go for it. Worst case scenario, we'll just get a hotel, wait it out, come back in the morning. And my wife kept telling me, I don't think it's a good idea you go. And I'm like, we're fine. Like, quit panicking, quit worrying about it. We're good. So we started heading down the road, and we get on the interstate, and I'm doing about 70, 75. We're just sitting there having a good time, just bullshitting. And we hit this little slight of a kind of curve.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking, and all of a sudden, I'm in a minivan, by the way. My family grocery getter. We took the minivan because we store all of our equipment in there. And I feel the ascent of my van sliding a little bit. I turned to him, I was like, man, we're on ice. And as soon as I said, I just let off the gas, never hit the brakes or anything, but as soon as I said that, it plowed us right into the concrete wall where the median is. Hit nose first, slung us around and slammed the ass in. Airbags went off, horns going constantly, and we get out of the van, making sure we're okay, and I'm trying to call 911, but I'm like shaking up, and so he's calling 911, and he gets off the phone with 911, and here comes that little Honda.
Yep.
This other car was coming, it was losing control, and it seemed like it was coming right at us. But like, I froze, couldn't move, and it wasn't far from us. They crashed right into the damn wall, and that ruined that night.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, a vehicle came along a little bit just shortly after that and pulled over to help us out. It was a guy who said he was a first responder. So he just happened to be in the right place at the right time. You know, he told us, go ahead and get in the car where it's warm and get out of harm's way. And so we sat in the car and waited, and then he went and got the other folks who had just had an accident, and they got in the car with us. And you know, we were kind of talking, and Ponji reveals, yeah, we were actually headed to try and do a paranormal investigation. And at that point, you would have thought that the two of us were rock stars. He lit up. The people that nearly hit us and crashed their car lit up. Everybody was thrilled to be in the car with us and talk to us about this stuff.
About paranormal, yeah, it was just like...
It was crazy. But, you know, shortly after that, the tow trucks came, and
That's...
and we had to deal with business as usual. But for a brief moment there, everybody forgot about the storm and the accidents.
It's lightened the mood.
Yeah.
Remember, we called John for a ride.
Yeah.
Because I really didn't want to call him. I called my wife and told her we're in an accident, we're safe, but I didn't want her to get out and run. He didn't want his wife to get out and run. So we called my buddy John, and he drives up. His car has no fucking heat.
Yeah, no heat.
At all. It's cold enough for ice to be on the road. And I remember that drive back was just cold and miserable.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we were standing by the median after those people crashed and that semi just came barreling, hauling ass between us, and I'm thinking the whole time just like, fuck, don't hit ice.
Yeah.
Like this is how I'm going out.
Yeah. And you know, before anyone came along, we had moved to the side of the road, and I mean, you can just see the sleet and ice, you know, piling up and forming off the side of the road there where we were.
Well, I remember one of the paramedic guys, the firefighters, one of them were saying it was just this small stretch of road that was slick, that if we made it through this, we would have been just fine. It was just down in that valley.
And it hit like right before we got to it. I mean, we almost, you know, made it through without any issues. But.
Jeez, that minivan got totaled. It did total that out.
Yeah. And at the time, Ponji told me we were even. We were both in accidents and we were even, but he still gives me hell about the one that I caused.
That's true, because we met in that accident because of him, and then I got even with it, and then this accident was caused with me, but no, it's fun. It's always adventures. You just never know what the hell is going to happen or what we're going to stumble upon. And
that's the truth.
You know, we just went to, what's that town? Pitcher, Oklahoma, not long ago.
Yeah.
It's a ghost town with, they used to do mining there, and there's chat, and it contaminated the water, and people had to evacuate. But we're just driving down roads looking for empty buildings and come across this big shrine of these two teenage girls that came up missing in, I think it's the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Or maybe late 90s, somewhere around that area. But it's just like, that's the greatest part of exploring, is you never know.
Yeah, you never know what you'll find.
I love it when you find stuff like that, or stories happen that is unintentional. Minus the wrecks. We're done with car accidents.
I could do without those.
We drive a hell of a lot more careful now, and when there's bad weather, we do back out now. That was a hard lesson to learn.
But yeah, we had gone to a ghost town that had a history of its own, and stumbled across a completely different mystery that we had to really dig into and investigate. And you know, their disappearances were pretty much explained. Folks pretty much know what happened, but there's just not enough evidence to do anything about it.
It's a bizarre story that involves so many different people, and we're going to do a vlog on that one day, going and retracing all these steps and do more of an in-depth vlog of that. But like I said, we found it by total accident, but it's something that we want to do, and it's a fascinating story. It's a twisted story. It's kind of a drug dealers versus cops sort of thing, and people coming up, man, they still haven't found those two girls to this day.
Right.
They're still searching for them. They think they've been dropped down in a mine shaft there somewhere. 'Cause the picture has, I think it was over 100 mine shafts in that area. So, but this is basically what we're going to do, is just shoot the shit, reminisce stuff, talk about stuff that we've done. Hopefully, you know, it takes off. We got a lot of stories that we already have, and we got a lot more planned ahead of us. We also participate in another podcast that we're gonna launch.
We're still in the early recording phases of that, and soon to be editing phases of it. So that should come out before too terribly long. But we're just kind of pacing ourselves with that one.
So yeah,
that one. Oddly enough, that one has a little more structure.
That one, yeah. So and we're gonna intertwine these two podcasts, kind of. It's the other one is Derek and I and some other friends that do it. That one's professionally recorded.
Yeah.
With someone that owns a recording studio, so that'll be
and
more.
The recording studio is soon to be in a state of flux. It's having to change locations, so there's a lot up in the air with that one, but we're hoping to get things moving on it.
Man, Chris has a lot of fucking work ahead of him on that.
I know.
A lot of work ahead. But so as soon as he gets done with the move and things set up, we'll really start picking that up. In the meantime, we decided to get together and do this.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like. It's going to give me, to me, it's different talking to a camera than just sitting around a table with microphones with no video.
Right.
It's like I'm sitting here, I'm noticing I'm real fidgety.
Yeah.
So hopefully as time goes on, I can level out. I'm not tweaking, I'm not on drugs. I'm just, it's nervous, it's weird. Yeah. But like my earlier videos on YouTube, when Hannah and I were doing it, it was weird too.
Yeah.
Because especially when people are around and you're holding. Everybody that does vlogs knows.
Yeah.
The awkwardness of it.
Sure.
So, another part of this channel that I decided to go with is my wife has stage 4 ovarian cancer, and it was her idea to start doing a vlogs like this, of sitting down with her and talking about her cancer. What her symptoms were, how we found out, the different treatments that she's had. We're going to talk about, I'm her primary caretaker. Care Bear. Yes. She's going to watch this shit. She's going to start calling me that all the time now.
Yeah. She's going to have a shirt printed.
That's it. Yeah. So I like how it is for me to take care of my wife with stage 4 cancer, because there's not much information, not very many videos out there, and I think it's useful for people to hear firsthand if you know somebody going through it, if you're going through yourself. But the biggest part is my wife has had this almost 3 years now. Her percentage to live was very low, and she's doing very good. But she wants to get the word out, you can have stage 4 cancer, you can have treatments, and you can still live a great life. We still travel all the time. We do weekend trips. We go out. We go to comedy shows, concerts, whatever, movies. You can still do it, because she's on Facebook pages where so many people just I'm done. I can't do this. I'm staying in. They cancel trips. They cancel vacations. And it's we want to tell you, do these things. Don't let it hold back. And I know there's days where you're not feeling well, because she has those, but the days that you're feeling so much, go do something, get out and live. So I'm going to be doing that on this channel also. We'll release our videos on Tuesdays. We'll release the videos with my wife and I's talk on Thursdays. And when we do our travel stuff, I'll release those on Saturdays. Not every Saturday we'll have one. It's like you said, winter's here and there's not a whole lot to do. It's cold. I'm a bitch in the cold. I don't like getting out and freezing. Yeah. So this spring and summer and fall and stuff, we'll start getting out and doing stuff and backtracking on some of the cool places we've been. Yeah. Even if we just have to stand outside and talk about it and point out rooms or something, and new exploration and
And with the other podcasts, there's bound to be some overlap here and there.
Right.
Some of the same stories or even topics from time to time.
Well, the other podcast is basically going to be the same thing. We're just minus 2 people.
Yeah. Well, minus 3.
3.
Yeah. Jeremy, Chris, and
damn, I forgot about Jeremy. Sorry, Jeremy. If you see this, sorry, dude. I apologize. He's a dick for bringing that up. You should just let that slide.
Yeah, in all fairness, Jeremy's a more recent addition.
He is recent.
But yeah, he came along about halfway through.
So, yeah. But we got a great podcast, I think. We got some good material, and we're all different in our ways, but we're all the same. We have the same interest, except for Chris. Chris is just like, he's always the guy like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? So, but yeah,
there's some overlap. There's a Venn diagram somewhere out there that shows our overlapping interests. But yeah, the other podcast, we get along well. We have similar senses of humor, and we play well with each other.
That's right.
Yeah, and we settled on the name. Sorry, it got weird. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
So it does get weird, and even when we talk about serious things or a subject, it does get weird. But that's the funnest part, and this will probably get weird too.
Yeah.
The more comfortable we get doing this and talking to a little camera.
Yeah.
But no, I'm stoked on it. And the podcast, there's 2 trips under our belt so far.
Yeah.
4 of us were able to go to Pitcher. One had to sit that one out.
Yeah.
And then they did an investigation, and I had to sit that one out.
Yeah.
So we haven't been able to all 5 of us get together for something yet, but
yeah,
it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that may be a long video because all 5 of us together, shit's gonna be said, shit's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So, but all right, dude. Well, this is our very first one.
Yeah. This is it.
We're gonna do it weekly. I know there's some weeks that you won't be able to do it or whatnot, and so I may just try to fly solo
And we're trying to alternate it around the other podcast as well, so
Right.
we can keep doing them both at the same
time.
And the other podcast, the nights we get together and record, have kind of fluctuated here and there as schedules, kind of conflict. So this one may have to shift here and there some as well, but we'll try to be pretty consistent.
Yeah, as consistent as we can.
Yeah.
So, and then we'll have other people. Like I want to get Eric.
Yeah.
In here with us.
And he's investigated with us.
With us, and we all kind of have the same sense of humor.
Absolutely.
Some of it's dark. I'll give fair warning. Some of the sense of humor gets dark. I'm not a person that gets offended at all. And I find stuff funny that most people don't find funny.
Yeah.
But if you don't find humor in it, what's life? Like my wife's cancer. She makes jokes about it. You got to find the humor in it and stuff, you know?
I find roughly 92% of what you say to be in very poor taste.
Yeah, see? And I'm proud of that. Like that meme I sent you today.
But even more than that is your lack of filter.
That is true. That is true. That is. This isn't for kids. It won't be for kids. I cuss. I say inappropriate things. It's all in good humor. If you get offended, well, you know what happens when you get offended? Nothing.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Nothing. You're just offended. That's
Yeah.
it. You're just offended.
Yeah.
So I don't go out of my way to offend people, but this day and age, anything I say or do, someone's gonna pick it apart. Anyways, cool. That's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back next week and try to keep this fucking train going and throw out some more videos.
Sounds good to me.
Awesome. Peace out.